Always that.
All right. We are live. Let's go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to A New View on Travel, episode 8. We are glad that you could make it here today to be equally as eager as we are to get out there and get traveling. My name is Sherry Coleman, and I am the manager of Robert Q Travel in Goderich. Tammy, tell us where you're from.
I'm with Tropical Escapes, Destination Weddings and Travel Inc., located in Saskatchewan.
And I'm Christine Turner, and I'm from 𝑬𝒔𝒄𝒂𝒑 out on the west coast of Canada, Vancouver.
Yay, coast to coast, we're covered. And everything in between. We're just here to give you some news and hope you guys can have some fun. We have some fun questions that we're going to talk about today. I'll just give you one right now. What is the first, or if you are traveling, what is the one thing that you have to have with you? And if that's not good enough, I'll give you 3 of things only 3 things you can take.
Oh, tricky. Well, for me, that's an easy one. I mean, I've got my credit card, my cell phone, and a charger, and I'm good to go. Because credit card, I can buy everything else, right?
Sure.
True enough. Yep. Yeah. And you got to have your phone for sure. Yeah, definitely phone, sunscreen, and money. Yeah, credit card money would probably, for sure.
I'm just going to beach bum it because I want my lip balm, my sandals, and my bikini. That's it. That's all I want.
Ladies, it is National Flip Flop Day today. So
yay,
there you go.
Perfect. There you go. Awesome. I'm in New Orleans today. I thought I'd take a stroll down Bourbon Street and see what's going on. It's really, really hot here. But I think it's hot just about everywhere right now. So that's nice to be able to go outside during COVID, and hopefully as things move along, we can get to other destinations for warm weather and fun things. Anyway, I'm glad that you guys were able to join us today. If you like our show, be sure to join our Facebook page and our YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up. And we'll carry on with the In Case You Missed It news. There has been a lot, i.e. that just happened within the last hour. I went somewhere, I came home, and my email box was flooded of what's new as of 45 minutes ago. So first of all, if you don't already know, the land border between Canada and US remains closed yet again until July 21st. Trudeau also announced this morning that Canada's ArriveCAN app, which is what you were, if nobody's familiar with it, it was an app on your phone, and you were to put all your information before boarding the plane, so they knew it and they had it when you got back into Canada. It's already in use for COVID tests and results and quarantine plans. They believe that soon they will have it functionally and ready to upload for your new vaccination certificate, which we all knew was coming. So the plan is still a little bit sketchy, but they are working on it, and it will likely be out by the beginning of July. So watch for that.
Crossed.
Yes.
We're seeing things moving.
They're kind of thinking it's going to be like a 2-track proof of vaccination system, and it confirms the reports that the timeline will be early July. Therefore, the hotel quarantine will no longer be implemented. If you are fully vaccinated, you have a negative test prior coming into Canada, and you have another one when you arrive, you can go home. So that has been lifted somewhat. That's a good thing, or that's a major step.
But as with all of the stuff that we talk about, we should also say that things could go sideways yet again.
Oh, sure they could.
If you're going away right now, you just prepare to be doing that hotel quarantine. Do not expect it to be lifted until it's lifted.
It's going to be chaotic for a while to get everything smooth sailing, and but it's something to look forward to. I also read something today that we could see those land borders open by mid-July, and they are still yet to come out with a bunch new information on Monday. So if something changes on Monday, again, we will go live. We're going live immediately. Breaking news. Air Canada has extended the deadline to submit the request for refunds to July 12th. The US and UK have announced a plan that they are open to the borders between the UK and US, as of yesterday. That was Thursday's news. France has added Canadians to the green list. If you were fully vaccinated, you have no problems. Even the Canadians, because we were banned from there for a while. No COVID tests, no quarantines needed. So that's good. The CDC has downgraded the COVID travel advisory for more than 120 countries. And 12 countries using the EU's digital COVID certificate, and there's 16 more ready to go. So
that was updated. They're now all fully on board. Yeah. I just read that.
See, sorry, I didn't change my notes. That's how fast it changes.
Yeah, exactly.
Transat is excitingly resuming operations July 30th for their summer routes. And in December, they will start flying back again from Toronto, Hamilton, London, Montreal, Halifax, I think Ottawa. Don't quote me on that.
I saw 30 destinations.
Yeah, to the Caribbean. Yeah. So
that's big. That's good.
Flights. They also added 2 more flights today from Toronto to Miami, and Fort Myers. So that's cool. New for them this year too.
Yeah.
Air Canada has recalled 2,600 workers back to the workforce. I would love to know, not that I'm dissing Air Canada, because that seems to be all I'm booking right now, but I don't know where they're all being put. I don't know if that's 26 is, some of them are stewards, some of them are Air Canada vacations operators, some are res, some are something, but I spent 49,000 hours on the phone in the last week just trying to get a hold of Air Canada. So welcome back, but you need more, guys.
Yeah.
WestJet has put Amsterdam on the schedule starting August 5th from Calgary, and WestJet's also going to add nonstop flights from Calgary to Kona and Lihu, and increasing Hawaii service to 4 other destinations from Calgary and 2 from Edmonton in December as well. It's their Dreamliner 787 series, and will have service from Calgary and Vancouver to Maui, with 13 weekly flights. So,
nice.
And
a sweet ride.
Tammy, and now the Saskatchewans, is that what you guys call yourself?
Saskatchewanians.
Is that what just we call you, Saskatchewanians? Sunwing has now added flights for your winter schedule as well.
Yes, we are happy to have some concrete flight schedules in play. So yeah, it's exciting news all around. In all honesty,
it is. Before I go any further, Tammy, with you and your destination, speaking of destinations, since I'm in New Orleans right now, you were just telling us a story about what?
I have an interesting fact that a national survey reports that nearly half of Canadians believe in ghosts, and that of 1,000 Canadians polled, 1 in every 10 checked into a haunted hotel, motel, inn, or rental, with nearly half of the guests claiming that they had a spooky paranormal experience during their stay. A further 2 in 10 said that they would absolutely want to stay in a haunted hotel. What's your thoughts on this? Would you stay in a haunted house?
I totally would do it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I did, when I was in New Orleans, every time I go to New Orleans, I try and hit that graveyard tour, because it's just so, and just the hotels are so old and they have so much history. And I know the Roosevelt Hotel in LA or Hollywood also is known to be very, very, very haunted. And my daughter watches these paranormal
she's into it, isn't she?
TV shows on YouTube all the time, and I think she thinks she can make money off this.
But she's to be a ghost hunter.
So yeah, I would totally do it. I wouldn't think twice about it.
Yeah, I totally believe in them.
There's something.
And I love watching the shows that are ghost hunters, paranormal hunters, or whatnot. I think I want to stay in one. But when it happens, I don't know how long I'm going to be staying in it. So definitely, yeah, it was quite the interesting facts that I saw today on that.
Well, if you still run up the stairs in the dark, instead of walking up the stairs in the dark, you're still scared of the dark. So you think there's something coming.
Yeah.
But then you can use your phone and turn on your flashlight.
Right? Yeah. Going back to last week's show, yes. I'm going to start. I don't know if I want to install those lights in my house at all or not. Tammy, what's going on in the destination? Yeah.
Destination news. We've got a little bit of updates. Okay, so Spain is officially open to all vaccinated travelers. St. Bart as well is now open to fully vaccinated US travelers. Get your baguettes and barrettes ready. Vax Canadians now welcome in France without restrictions. Puerto Vallarta business receives the green light to increase their occupancy level in their hotels. So that's a big one too.
That's good.
Let me think what else we got here. AM Resorts, another couple of new hotels coming up here in Mexico. It's going to be the Secrets Mochi Playa del Carmen and the debuting Secrets Impression Mochi Playa del Carmen, opening up in December. And I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Bahamas, in the Bahamas on the famous Cable Beach, they're going to be opening up a 200 million, 15-acre oceanfront water attraction that's going to have dueling water roller coasters, 24 water slides, tropical action rivers. So there's going to be a big attraction opening up on
That would be great for families.
Yeah,
Kids
it
will love
looks
that.
from the renderings, it looks pretty cool. So yeah, it's got flying saucers.
Now, do you know, will that be all inclusive, or is that going to be more based on the Atlantis type style system, the way they do things there, where you can buy packages, but it's not necessarily all inclusive?
You know what? I am not sure. I don't remember. Yeah, sorry, I don't have that.
No,
I
that's
just know
okay.
it's called the Baja Bay, located
Cool.
on Cable Beach.
Awesome.
And
It is
then-
interesting because they've got Atlantis over on Paradise Island.
Mhm.
And so to now have a similarly sized water park on the mainland, you know, if you're looking for water sports and theme parks, which the Bahamas previously didn't really have,
Mhm.
you know, this is going to make it a fairly active and fun vacation
It
destination.
will, yeah,
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
Good. And then the other, the first ever Saint Somewhere Resort, which is affiliated with Margaritaville Resorts, I believe, will open in the fall of 2021 on the island of Hobart at the tip of the Yucatan Peninsula.
Oh,
And just real quick news on cruising has resumed from the Caribbean. So cruising is back on the ocean there. Cozumel, I saw a photo of Cozumel port employees welcoming back the cruisers. So they were all happy to
good.
see that. Yeah. So yeah, and that's really kind of all I have for destination news this week.
Awesome. All right. So going through with the show here, we just wanted to kind of take this light, and we're just going to kind of do a panel discussion. And if anyone wants to add a comment and answer any of the questions that we're going to ask, some maybe travel tips and etiquette to start. Do you guys take checked bags, or do you try and just stick to carry-on?
Well, it depends who you're flying with. I mean, if you're flying with Sunwing, they've got a pretty tight carry-on policy. So by the time I've got all my portable chargers, I'm at the weight limit maximum. But if I'm flying WestJet, then yeah, I love it if I can have a bag with all my goodies and then a rollerboard with my clothes. I mean, that's fantastic. And then sit in the front in the premium, and then you're first off the plane, you're out of the airport, boom, 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 and then you're on the beach in no time.
Yeah,
that's my preference.
Well, Tammy, I already know your answer because I've traveled with you before, but go ahead.
I'm a checked girl. Yeah, I'm a checked. For some reason, I'm still can't get it straight that I don't need all these clothes, but I still overpack and still need the check and a carry-on, but that's usually for all my munchies.
And I know you have to sit on it to close it, or your husband does.
Yeah. Or hopefully he's coming with me and unpacking some of it in his.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you guys split your clothes up? So if you and your husband are traveling together or whatnot, do you put a little bit of yours in his and his in yours, so that if a piece of luggage did go missing, at least you had something to have until, I mean, again, you want to purchase insurance for that case, because then you can go spend money and get what you need while you're there. But do you guys split it up?
He only gets my overflow. So I really don't say, okay, I need to make sure I pack an extra bikini, an extra pair of shorts, an extra evening wear or whatnot. I just usually, okay, just here, you need to take my shoes.
Right.
We've never done it before, but the last trip that we made, which was to Cabo last March, my husband, we were on a direct nonstop flight, and the bag, it oddly didn't get there. And I mean, you'd think on a direct nonstop flight you shouldn't have any issue, but it just got dropped off the bag or the carrier or something and ended up on the ground somewhere. So it never made it to Cabo. And it
Right.
was like 5 days before we were able to get the suitcase back. So that was
Yeah.
kind of tough. And I mean, we had it was with WestJet, and they had a very good reparation policy where it was $100 a day that he could spend on clothing. But I don't know how many trips we made to the mall in Cabo San Lucas, but I'll tell you what, there ain't no men's underwear for sale in that mall. Like none. So, and if you go to the little shops, like where you're going to get the best prices, you're not going to get a receipt, so you can't claim that. So
Right. Yeah.
it's tricky. So yeah, going forward, I definitely would do that, because
It's a good tip.
yeah, but then the other thing we talked about is that if you've got Nexus, you have to make sure
Right.
that the person that you're splitting your stuff with also has Nexus, because otherwise you're attesting that whatever is in your suitcase is yours and you're accountable for it.
Yeah.
So watch out for that one.
That's tricky
Yeah,
too.
that's a good tip.
For sure. And I'm going to ask this question again. I'm only picking on Tammy here because I know her so well, but it is a good question. How long do you pack? How much
far do I
time does it
pack?
take you to pack? Is it a month like Tammy? Is it a week? Or is it 2 weeks? Is it the night before like me?
No, it's
Literally
not
the night before, the morning of.
And it
Because-
really depends on when I book, which is usually in advance. I will probably pull the suitcase out and just kind of have it ready to go. I do pack and I do unpack and repack just to try to see if I can realize I don't need all this stuff and try to eliminate it, get it down, get it to very minimal maximum capacity or
Which is
weight
maximum.
limit. Yeah. So I am a bad packer, and I do pack and unpack a good couple weeks prior to. Yes, for sure.
What's your routine, Christine?
Well, honestly, and I'm looking forward to my plans for this fall. And I think it's going to be like the olden days of, 2019, where I was traveling so frequently that I would literally come home and chuck my suitcase. Everything would go into the wash. And once it's clean, it just goes back into the suitcase, pre-packed, ready to go, as long as
Yeah.
it's the same kind of vacation.
Right.
And can I just say, we have 5 people watching us today. Thank you very much.
Hey.
Hello to Tracy.
Hello.
Hello to Nicole. And Nicole actually commented and said the night before is for her packing, the night before all the way. And she's still cramming her stuff in as she's running out the door. And I think we've all been there, like, oh, shoot, I forgot something. Quick, run upstairs.
Oh, that's why I do it the night before. I can't sit there and stew about it because I don't really know. And I'd rather panic pack. And if I forgot something, oh, well, it likely didn't need to get there anyway.
True.
So yeah, totally.
true.
Which now brings me to the next question. How early, again, take this off the record because we all know what our travel agents, what we tell our clients, international flights, 3 hours, transborder flights, 2 hours, within Canada, domestic, 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And we have to tell you that, but we all have our own little things. Tammy, I just can picture you being a 5 hour before
No,
you need to be
I'm
there.
No, not a 5 hour, especially from here. Our little Regina airport is pretty tiny, and we usually don't have many flights going out early in the morning. So you can kind of judge how long you need to be there and be there kind of at the max that you need to be. So yeah, I'm not no 5 hours, regardless now with kind of all the COVID protocols and testing or requirements and requirements that we're going to need. We might need to be at the airports a little bit longer to get through all that kind of chaos that they're going to need to check over everything again. But yeah, no, right now I'm from Regina. If I'm in destination, then I'm usually definitely adding on maybe an extra hour because of transportation from hotel, just to make sure you don't get into any traffic jams or anything.
Christine?
Well, for me, it depends where I'm going and what time the flight is. If the flight's leaving at 8 in the morning, there's no point being there a whole lot early because 2 hours ahead means 6. Leaving for the airport, getting parked and all that good stuff means leaving the house at 5. Like it's kind of cutting back towards dinner hour if you get there too early. And nothing's open anyways, other than, the little food shops and stuff like that. If I was flying to Vegas and it was an afternoon flight, hello, yeah, I would be at the airport early because I'm gonna have a little pre-flight cocktail. Oh yeah. But yeah, nothing in YVR opens there. I should say there's nothing open. There's shops and dining venues that are open, but it's overpriced,
Yeah. Well, I drive like I pack, so I panic and go. So I get there when I get there, in the skin of my butt, hoping that I'm on time and I'm not going to miss that. However, you're right, Tammy, with that. And again, I heard on the news that they were trying to push something to get these, especially the bigger airports like Toronto, excuse me, get a plan in place so that they're ready for when this boom does hit, so they can make it a smooth transition for everybody, so that it doesn't get like backlogged and people are waiting for hours and hours and hours. And I don't think that's likely going to happen all at once, but hopefully they'll have something ready to go before it hits, which is
well, and especially from Canada, we've seen from other countries where there has been some chaos during the check-in process. So hopefully Canada's learning from all our other countries of what to do right.
Christine, you have a $20 Vegas trick, and I'd love to know about it because I don't know what this trick is.
Yeah, I know. And I forgot to bring a 20 for the show, but basically what it is, when you go to check in at the hotel in Vegas, well, the first thing they're going to ask you for is a credit card and your ID. So you pull out your driver's license, you pull out your credit card, and what you do is we'll pretend this is a $20 bill. You take a $20 bill and you just fold it up. And you put that in between your driver's license and your credit card. And then when you hand over the ID, you hand that over. Now, I will tell you, frontline staff at hotels, they can smell if there's money there. They know for sure. They don't have to see it, whatever. And in Vegas, there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Well, you put it down, they're going to take it aside and they're going to continue doing what they're doing. It's like it's invisible. And then all of a sudden they'll say, oh, let me just check something with your reservation. And away they go to the back room or something. And, you're kind of looking down, like, did they see the money? Did they see the money? Yes, they did. It's now inside their pocket. And they usually will come back and be like, well, I know you had originally booked, just a basic room at the back of the hotel, about 1,000 meters from the casino area, or a mile if you're watching from the States. But we're going to upgrade you into one of the players suites. So you'll be, about 15 steps from the casino. It's a soundproof room. It's, a little bit bigger. It's 2 bedrooms. It's about 1,200 square feet. So, hopefully that's okay for you. But thank you very much. Enjoy your stay. There used
for
to
$20.
For $20. There used to be a website where people would post regularly and provide updates. Like, I just tried this at the Bellagio and it worked. I just tried this at the Monte Carlo, didn't work. So it doesn't work all the time,
right?
But I mean, what the heck? You go to Vegas, you're going to gamble anyways. So why not take exactly, right?
Yeah, that's funny.
And I will say that it's worked for me every time.
Oh, really?
We need to take you on our next Vegas holiday.
Interesting. Yeah. Let's go, guys. They're open. So how many people would you say you would run into on an average vacation that you actually physically know, or have recognized someone, or someone hasn't recognized? Have you met anyone famous? Have you seen any, like, what do you guys ever, and more importantly, I guess, do you ever run into anybody from home while you're in destination on your travels?
I do, just because we're so small here. So it's usually airports, and the airports that you'll run into a lot of people from our area, because everybody knows everybody here. So most part, anyhow.
Christine, do you run into?
Yeah, we've run into people in London Heathrow Airport in the UK. We've run into people, friends of ours in Cancun. We didn't even know they were down there. It's like, oh, hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And that one story I have, I was staying at Sandals Royal Bahamian and chatting with another couple, as you do, sitting at the bar, and they're a really lovely couple. And then you kind of realize after like 45 minutes or an hour or whatever that you don't know each other's names. You're like, oh, sorry, my name's Christine. Nice to meet you, kind of thing. And this woman, the guy's name was like Ted or Mike or something. That's easy. And she says her name, and I'm like, oh, Anna, it's nice to meet you. And she says, no. And I was like, oh, sorry, Hannah, it's nice to meet you. And she's like, no. And then I finally listened properly, and her name was Vanna. And and then the penny dropped, and I was like, oh, Vanna, like as in Vanna White, as in
spin that wheel,
wheel of fortune,
or spin those things.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, nice to meet you, and you know, being I think in Vancouver here, we're so used to seeing celebrities all over the place that it was like, okay, well, just keep chatting, and if she's cool with that, and so we said, well, what are you doing here? And she said she was here for work, and they were going to be filming a couple of trailers or something for the show, and that was about it. And so then we moved on to, so have you guys had any good meals? Like, where have you eaten? You know, like what's been good? And just treated her like a normal person. Like they were both so nice. And
Right.
then unfortunately, she just got like around the resort, it was like, Vanna's here. And people started like coming up crazy, and they were like, oh, will you sign this? Will you take my picture? Blah, blah, blah. And they kind of laughed after that because it was bombarding her. Yeah, It was too much. And I thought, well, that's so unfair. Like, she's here for a few extra days and wanted to have a nice vacation at a really posh resort, and yet just kind of got mobbed. So it's kind of unfortunate.
That's too bad.
I once ran into Diana Ross's hair on a flight from Toronto to LA.
You ran into her hair.
Sitting right in front of me. And you couldn't see, like, good thing the TV was like in the seat, because if it was up there, you wouldn't have seen it. It's true story. Her hair is actually that big. Like, it was like hanging over the back of the. So yeah, I did have that experience once. But yeah, I've run into quite a few people on the plane, in the airports, even at destinations. Like, I was at Disneyland in LA, and I ran into someone that I went to high school with. And then we went to Palm Springs 5 days later, and she was sitting beside me in this chair at the same hotel. And actually, I think that's where our good friendship kind of immersed all through high school and college. I often see people, and again, it's here in county, and we all like to travel. So you do tend to run into people quite a bit of places. So, so what's the grossest thing you've ever witnessed on an airplane?
Feet.
Yeah.
Feet in my space. Keep your stinky, grubby toe jam out of my space. That is a no.
Yeah, there might be space between the seats in front of you. That's not a place for your foot.
No, hell no.
Well, at least the planes will be cleaner now.
Yeah, but these people's feet aren't. No. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Okay, well, I have another story.
Oh,
so
if it's gonna top that one, I don't know.
Well, you tell me. So we're sitting on the plane. We were in the emergency aisle. There was a woman sitting across from us. So she had 2 empty seats free. And I guess she hadn't really flown much before. She had a bag full of all different types of food and snacks and stuff like that. So she kind of was just doing her own thing and sitting by herself. And then she got out her hairbrush and she was brushing her hair. And okay, you know, when it's the sunlight streaming in, all the dust particles kind of waft everywhere. And my husband was just like, this was before COVID, so we didn't carry masks back then. So he's mortified. And I'm like, and then she pulls out an orange. She had an orange with her. And so she starts peeling the orange, and she kind of looked around and realized she didn't have anywhere to put it, didn't want to put it back in her bag. So she chucked it under the seat in front of her. Like, it's okay, you know, whatever, someone will clean it up eventually.
Oh, geez.
And my husband and I are sitting there looking at her like, so I realized this was with WestJet, the flight attendants on WestJet on a turnaround. We were flying into Cancun. The flight attendants would have had to clean all that up.
If they cleaned it up.
Yeah. So I walked to the back of the thing and I'm like, oh, hey. And I said, oh, can I get a beer? And I said, well, you know, do you guys ever see those videos and stuff that come around of like, oh, I'm a flight attendant, and here's 100 crazy things I've seen. And
Yeah.
she laughed. She's like, oh yeah, I've seen those. And I said, well, it's happening on your flight. And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, row 15, seat F. I said, she's peeling an orange, she's tucking on the ground. And she's like, she's not. And I'm like, oh yeah, live, it's happening. And so she's like, okay. I said, well, don't tell her it was me that said anything, right?
Yeah.
So about 5 minutes later, she's walking through the cabin. Anyone got any garbage? Anyone got anything to get rid of? And she comes along and she sees me, and I'm like, and she looks over the woman and she says, oh, have you got any garbage? And she's already finished eating her orange. And she's like, oh, I think there's something under the seat in front of you. What could that be? And the woman's like, oh, it's my orange peel. And I didn't know where to put it. And the flight attendant was very professional, but she also was like, so you put it on the ground? Like, she's like, put it in a sick bag or something, or ring the buzzer and we'll like, so she made her, the traveler, she made her pick it up and put it in the bag.
Yeah.
I would hope so. Yeah. Jeez,
What are people thinking?
I see that a lot on planes, that people throw stuff on the ground and they don't care because they know someone's going to turn around and come and pick it up. But the problem is, on that turnaround flight, that's, again, like, we could disease control or garbage control. They didn't have enough time to do it, likely. Yeah. And a lot of the times you would get on a flight and still see stuff on the floor. So again, going forward, I don't think we're going to see that anymore.
Well, hopefully people have realized not to be such inconsiderate.
That was a better word than what was just going to come out of my mouth. So good for you.
Biting my tongue there. But just be considerate people and have a brain. And
so for anyone that asks, the answer is no. You cannot bring your own booze on the plane to drink. I'm sorry. People do it, or they try to do it. A lot of people have attempted to do it, but it is not allowed. It is illegal. So I'm sure everybody knows that, but that's just a fun little.
Well, not everybody. Well, they might know it, but they don't abide by it.
Right. Well, window, middle, back. Preference on the plane?
Aisle. So we used to play the game.
Aisle forward, aisle back, aisle middle.
Well, so I would book 2 aisle seats for my husband and I, so we each have at the front, unless we're both at the front in the premium section or first class or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'll take a window and an aisle, but never the bulkhead, because I hate having my bag up top. I want to have my stuff where I can access it. So I think I want to start writing some ideas down. I want to get my book out. I want to get my thing and watch some movies. Instead of having to stand up every time. Like, forget that. What about you, Sherry?
I would prefer the front for a few reasons. I think the back is too noisy, and I've said it before, being a travel agent, I hate flying. And I think it's really loud and scary at the back. Makes a lot of noise back there, and I don't want to hear it. I don't need to think about anything else. Just leave me at the front. And then secondly, I'm off the plane first. So I would prefer that. I don't care if it's a window or an aisle. That doesn't really bother. It bothers me if it's in the middle and I'm sitting between 2 other people I don't know.
Oh.
But, I don't like that. No, don't like that. Tammy, you like the front too, don't you?
I do. I like the front, and I need to be in an aisle because I'm a nervous flyer. I need to get up. I need to move. I need to go to the bathroom. So I'm an aisle person for most part, unless I'm sitting with someone I know that I can bug. If I want to sit at the window, I can bug to get out. I just don't want to bug someone I don't know, because and then I need to have my bags with me too, like Christine. Because I'm always munching or just putzing with things. I need to be keep my mind occupied.
Right. If you were offered a free upgrade to first class, but your travel partner wasn't, would you take the upgrade? Kind of like a sucks to be you, see you later, Or would you remain where you were originally?
I would stay with my partner, with my travel partner.
Girl.
I know.
Good girl.
I
Christine?
well,
It'd be tough.
I see you looking there going, well, I don't know.
well, so that happened to us, which is kind of the reason for the question. That my husband was offered an upgrade, and I was going to be in economy, and it was an 8-hour flight, and this was many decades ago, actually. And I back then was a nervous flyer. Now I don't, no problem at all. But I was like, no, like you're gonna get all these perks. It's so not fair. And then so he declined. So I carried guilt on that still. And then on the way home, we had to do something different with our flight. So he ended up on a separate flight than me. And then I got a free upgrade to business class.
Oh, poor
I didn't
me.
decline it.
Why would you then?
I know. It was like, oh, I it was like it compounded the guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
And
can you
Dean's
do?
just learning about that now.
Yeah.
One of my first trips to Cancun, I was flying from Detroit direct to Cancun, and we were on a flight with another girl I worked with, and we were not that far back, but we were sitting there, and I just happened to ask. I mean, if you don't ask, you don't know, right? Isn't that what we have always learned? If you don't ask, you don't know.
Yeah.
So I just said to the steward, is there any way we can get upgraded to first class? Because the cabin was actually empty. There was nobody in the cabin at all. And he goes, oh no, I'm sorry, ma'am. And I'm like, please don't call me ma'am. But do you think we could have a free upgrade? He goes, no, I'm sorry, we can't do it. He goes, but you know what? If you want to pay $200, I'll go get the machine and I'll bring it back to you. And you can, and he just toured, he just left. And I'm looking at my friend and I'm like, I don't want to pay $200. Do you want to pay? Because no, I'm not paying $200. And then he comes back and he goes, okay, here's your here you go. I looked at him and he just nodded his head, and I went, and he pushed a button, got a piece of paper out of it. He goes, come with us. And off we went up to first class. It was the best flight of my life.
Yeah.
Food,
Oh, that's awesome.
food, chairs that recline, feet up, blankets. That was my first time to Cancun. So, and it's a good jaunt. So it was perfect.
Good for you.
Doesn't always happen. I mean, but again, if you don't ask, you don't know.
That's right.
Do you guys have any best or worst travel memories that you'd like to share, or funny, or?
Wow, I wasn't prepared for that one.
Like on a flight, like
No,
a
just
bad
in general.
flight?
No, just in general.
In all honesty, most of my trips have always been great, memorable, not too many crazy, stressed out moments. There's a few coming, and I'm used to it now that there is times where the turbulence is bad on planes. And that's usually my biggest fear. Takeoff, landing, love it. It's the turbulence,
Same.
and especially over ocean.
Exactly. Yep.
Freaks me out. But there was one trip where we were coming back home. It was winter and it was storming, and we had to do a circle around 𝑦𝒄𝒑 a couple of times. And I kept hearing the wheels, or what I thought were the wheels, like coming down or going up. And as we're circling, it kept making this sound. And my fear automatically went to, oh my God, the wheels are stuck. They won't come down. We can't land.
Right.
And I was like,
I would have too. Again, that's why you sit at the front of the plane. You can't hear that stuff.
I was panicking. It was like, and we did finally land after I think we had to circle I don't know how many times it was. It felt like forever. And it's like, okay, are they going down? Are they staying up? Like, what's the deal? And yeah, so that was kind of one of my freakiest kind of flight.
Christine?
I've learned over the years that there is certain clothing that's appropriate for airports and certain clothing that's not. And by appropriate, I mean with pockets, with decent pockets. Back in the day, I'd have my knapsack or whatever, but I'd have my passport with me and I would just put it in my pocket. And I think it was Aruba that I got to the gate and to board the plane, and they're like, "Where's your passport?" I'm like, "I don't know, it's gone." And it was back on, like, when I'd gone through security, I guess I dropped it or something. No problem, here you go. They had it. No problems at all. Got on the plane, you know, there was about 20 minutes of panic, but in the end it was fine.
Right.
Did that again somewhere else. Antigua, got to the resort, went for a walk. I had, back in the day, used to carry a little tiny wallet, but it had all my ID, my credit cards, you know, a couple $100 in cash. And we're walking along the beach and it fell out of my pocket.
Oh man.
Didn't realize until we got back to the resort. And I was like, oh my God. And this is the first day of the vacation. We'd arrived, our room was minuscule. We could barely even get around the bed. It was so small. So that was a disaster. And then this happens. And I'm like, oh my God. We went to the front desk and just said, look, has anyone turned in a wallet? And they had. All the money was there, all the ID. So I will say that, you know, and I've never had anything stolen from my room. Never, ever, ever. So, you know, to me, it just instills so much faith in other travelers and other people.
Oh yeah.
It would have been so easy for them to feel the thickness of it, look inside, and you know, not a penny.
I was in Chicago a few years ago watching a Jays Cubs game, and there was a bunch of girls. We went down, and I don't know if it was the second day. We were there for a few days, and I think it was early, and we still had a couple days to go. And of course, you come out of the game, and everybody's jumping around, and they're happy and not paying attention. And they have in Chicago, well, a lot of cities now, they have these bikes that you can rent that are sitting in different spots where you can pick one up here and drop it there. And of course, back then in my super fun Instagram, Snapchat days where everything was a selfie, we had to get on these bikes and take these selfies. So I sat everything down beside me and we took these pictures or whatever, and get up, carry on back to the car, which was probably about 6-7 blocks away. And get back to the car, and I go to get in the car. Where's my my phone was ringing. My cell phone was ringing, and I'm like, who's calling me from Chicago? I don't know anybody in Chicago, because I could tell by the area code. And I'm like, they're like, answer it. And I'm like, I'm not answering some phone call from Chicago. Anyway, I answered it, and there's this nice old lady on the phone and said, are you Sherry Coleman? Da, 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 da. And I said, yes. And she's like, I think I have your wallet.
Oh my God.
All
awesome.
My ID was in it. I had $700 US cash in it. And I was just mortified. And she's like, I said, where are you? And she goes, well, we're kind of at the spot where I just picked it up at the bikes. And I'm like, I'm on my way. She goes, we have to go. We have another thing to go to. We have to go. Can we meet later on? I'm like, no, we can't meet later on, sweetheart. Like, I'm coming. And I've never ran so fast in my whole entire life that I could not thank her enough. I tried to give her $100. She wouldn't take it. I was just, I mean, and again, everything, my health card, everything was in there. So that was a pretty big deal back then. So yeah, there are still good people out there.
Yeah. Speaking of that though, with someone that might possibly lose, especially a wallet with all your ID in, a good handy tip is make sure you have a photocopy of all your ID, all that information that you might possibly have with you, and leave it at home. And so that someone has access to it in case you need it, or put it in your safe so that if it ever does go missing, at least you know exactly what you had in there to be able to replace it, or possibly, just for future reference.
Yeah. I like this one the best. I want to know at the resort what your favorite part is, or how many pairs of slippers do you bring home?
Not answering.
Are you geared to
meant to
right
be?
now?
They're just going to go in the garbage. They don't wash the slippers and give them back out and put them in plastic again.
No, that's true.
I will say that every new resort I will take a pair of slippers. I will also say that from one resort I do have multiple.
I've seen your closet. I have never in my life seen so many pairs of white slippers.
The robes stay. Don't take the robes.
You can't take the robes. That's
can't take the robes. But yes, I have been known to own a pair of hotel slippers or 12.
Well, I will say that, you know what, it's been a year and a bit since I've been on a trip, and I'm reaching the point where I almost have to buy soap, like from a store.
Yeah, so that goes to say
Yeah,
what
the amenities.
hotels do you guys have think have the best toiletries and shampoos and little soaps and stuff like that? Do you have a favorite?
LeBlanc and Zoetree, hands down, because it's Bulgari toiletries, and it just, the smell is amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
LeBlanc. I don't mind. I like Hard Rock used to have kind of a sweet grass type
Lemongrass.
of lemongrass type
Lemongrass.
of lotions and
Yeah.
product, and they've kind of geared away. Sometimes you get it and sometimes it's more of a musky, so I like
the
that.
one that used to come in the big one, like the tube one, and then they had one that was a little red bottle with a cap on it.
Right.
They're supposed to be exactly the same, but those ones are different. So if you still get the two bottles, that's your full lemongrass. They're still
Okay.
great. But if you get the little red bottles with the silver cap, that's the one that goes, this is supposed to be this, but it's just not. So
Yeah, it's kind of
take the gray tube stuff.
okay.
It's way better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Sandals does a really good job with their toiletries and amenities in the room as well. I think that, again, it's based on that lemongrass type thing, but it's almost fresher than that. It's just
Yeah.
so clean, and yeah, I really like the Sandals ones too.
Good.
So moving forward, what kind of travelers are you personally? Are you beach travelers always, or more so adventurous, like in the jungle, or would you rather a cruise, or would all three, or do you have a preference?
I'd say A and C, B not so much.
Yeah.
But I've always done beach vacations just because of, travel and stuff like that. And because I used to do a ton of destination weddings. So it's just, product knowledge, right?
Right.
But I am really looking forward to exploring Europe more and stuff like that. So I don't know, beach, yes. Jungle, no.
Jungle, no.
I don't like the bugs.
Don't like the bugs. Yeah, I don't like bugs either. And you know what? For the jungle, for me, it's snakes. I was in Panama once, and we went on a jungle tour in Panama, and I just kept looking up in the trees like this.
Hoping something doesn't drop on you.
And the tour guide, Jenny's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm keeping an eye out." The tour guide turned around, and he was Panamanian, and turned around, and he looked at me and goes, "What are you actually looking at?" And I'm like, "I'm looking for anacondas, because they just pop down out of trees and take you and you're gone." He goes, "You are in the wrong country, girl. I don't know what you're watching on TV." Like, there's got to be one here somewhere. I couldn't pay attention to the tour because I was either looking on the ground for something to slither across it, or one popping down out of a tree.
Jeez, hey.
So I do like that stuff. I do like the adventure stuff, but I'm a beach bum anymore. I mean, I still want to do a lot of Europe, but I love my beach.
Yeah.
Not the sands part. I like my pool somewhere warm. Yeah. That's my favorite.
I'm an all-inclusive beach girl too, but I tell you, now I'm ready to do some exploring. I'm ready to, go hit those countries, Europe, South Africa, and do some touring and see the world more than just the beach.
Right.
So yeah, I'm quite excited for that.
Yeah, cool. This is a fun one. I already know both your answers because we've talked about this in the past, but when you go on vacation, and I'm talking vacation, you're not, just taking a little break and you're going to do some work while you're there. You're actually going on a week's vacation, trying to shut things down, not do anything. Do you still take your business cell, and do you still take your laptop so you can do work and just kind of catch up because you don't want to miss anything? Or can you just turn it all off and just have a happy, peaceful vacation?
No, I wish I could, but yeah, I feel too guilty. I need to check in, probably emails, and only just check in and make sure that if there is anything important pending, then I'll deal with it. Otherwise, no, I'll let the emails rest till I get back. But when I don't have nobody to back me up, I'm my own company, so it's kind of hard. You need to kind of still be out there if you need.
Yeah, that's true. Christine, I know your answer, but let's hear it.
26 years.
Yeah.
It's been 26 years since I've had a vacation where I haven't had to check
To work.
email and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, it's time. It's
Yeah.
time.
It's time. It's time. Yeah, we need Eddie here. I don't know this man personally or this family, but I heard a story last weekend that darn near put me on the floor. I was laughing so hard. They again were big into the business. They had always focused on business. They had been trying to take a vacation for 5 years. They just couldn't do it. Work. And then finally, it's time. You know what? We're done. We're going. We're planning a 3-week vacation. We're going to go sit in the sun. We're going to go kayaking, paddleboarding, blah, blah, blah. And we're just no work allowed. Husband's like, yep, I agree. They get there. Of course, he starts working on his cell phone, doing his thing or whatever. And she's just like, this is not what we planned. We talked about this. And he's like, okay, let's just go. Let's go out in the kayak or something like that. And she goes, okay, let's go. They get out in the kayak and they're in the ocean, bobbing around. And he goes, you know what? This is really good. I like this. And she goes, good, picks up his phone and chucks it into the ocean. and
Wow.
After it happened, I think, of course, she didn't care, obviously, at all. And he, after the initial shock, he did admit when the vacation was over, not having that phone, it was actually the best 3 weeks of his life.
Oh, good.
So,
But a little
I'm not going to
expensive.
tell any of you guys to start throwing your friends or acquaintances or
Just keep it in the
partner's
safe.
phone in the ocean. But yeah, it's nice to be able to go on vacation, especially if you've planned. You haven't been on, like we haven't been on one in so long. And I can't leave my phone in my room. I don't take my laptop. I get anything I want or need through my phone anyway, but I try to leave my, kind of query about this one. I try to leave it in the room. I usually can't, but I try not to pick it up when I'm at the pool. I don't want to drop it in the water. For the most part. And yeah, I try not to, but there are a couple times a day I might check in.
Yeah.
Just to see if I need, but
It's a travel agent life.
I think it's a lot of people's lives, really. I mean,
True. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Again, we're wrapping up here. The borders could be open soon. Make sure you get your travel insurance for 2022. We have fun facts and national days coming up here for drinks and stuff, don't we, Tammy?
We do. June 14th was Bourbon Day. June 18th is Flip Flop Day. So is that today?
Yep,
That's today.
Today.
Yep.
Flip Flop Day, right? We discussed that earlier. Also, tomorrow is Martini Day. We also have June 20th is going to be National Vanilla Milkshake Day. Also, Ice Cream Soda Day. On the 21st, it's Smoothie Day. And also Selfie Day. So if you're out there,
look out.
Yeah. So if you're out there, why don't you take a selfie right now in your best travel garb
and
that
send
you would
it
wear.
to us.
And send it to the Facebook page for sure. We'd love to see that.
We would.
And also Sunday is Happy Father's Day. So be sure to give your daddy an extra hug and squeeze. And I'm saying Happy Father's Day to my daddy up in heaven.
Me too. I will do the same. Cheers to
I am just going to mute.
Oh, she's making a martini.
Mhm.
What a bum.
I decided I can't do a full martini like the gin type martini. So it's going to be a chocolate.
Nice.
My favorite Hard Rock drink.
Oh, I forgot to put I got ice in it. I forgot to put the strainer on. So cheers, ladies. Happy Friday.
Happy
weekend.
Friday. Happy weekend. Happy Father's Day to all those great dads out there.
Happy Father's Day, Papa.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy-o.
Yep. Big daddy. Actually, Christine, what's coming up? What have we got in the next couple weeks here?
Well, I mean, who
again,
knows,
we
right?
back on Monday. So.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's potentially in the works, and I think we've seen the build slowly and slowly, but I think in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we are going to see a lot of activity, a lot of news about border reopenings, about vaccine passports, about all that kind of stuff. So we'll keep you guys posted on that.
Yeah.
And if you have questions, folks, feel free to comment down below, just jot it in the comments or post it on the Facebook group, and we'll be happy to check it out. But we've got a pre-long weekend show coming up. That'll be on June 30th. Because we've got Canada Day coming up. We had hoped there would be a lot more news before then, and maybe there will be. We don't know.
Next week we're going to see a lot of stuff change. So
yeah,
a bit more of an opening plan, at least. To be
exactly
forward to.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, give us a framework to work with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then we've got, of course, there's so much, like, folks, really, you should be planning your travel now. I just went through yesterday and finalized a bunch of my dates because WestJet, Air Canada, and I think the other two Transat and Canadian Airlines, Sunwing Airlines. Yeah, I know. Where did that come
That's
from?
a blast.
Where did that go?
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah. Well, it feels like it's been that long since we traveled, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So a lot of them have really great cancellation policies, and these are available for bookings made up until June 30th. You don't have to travel before June 30th, but
just book something.
Book something by June 30th. And then if you need to change it later, you can. At least you're not going to be paying any extra fees, because all that stuff's going to come back into place roaring like thunder, like it used to be. So definitely.
And the space isn't there. The space is, I have again done so much stuff in the last 3 weeks, and it's hard to get the space. So,
well, and I mean, I looked at those flights yesterday and I checked today, and every single flight had gone up since yesterday. I mean, that's just crazy. And this is for dates in October. Like, this isn't short term. So book now, be happy, have something planned.
Travel
carefree traveling right now. Tammy, why don't you tell us? I love when you do this. I don't know why. It just makes me giggle. What is our Facebook New View on Travel page?
It is Facebook/groups/A New View on Travel. So be sure to like our page and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay updated with us. We're happy to share this time with you.
Yeah, it's fun. Thanks for spending time with us today, guys. We appreciate you watching, and we hope you enjoyed the show. It's always fun talking about travel. I mean, the girls and I get together, 2-3 times within the next few weeks to, plan this out for you and think of or look for news and waiting for the news. And of course, we get to chat about it all the time, but it's nice to share it with you, and we can't wait to do it again, the June 30th. And can't wait to share our thoughts on A New View on Travel. So I hope everybody has a great Father's Day weekend.
Cheers.
See you next time.
See ya.